Thanks for staying with us. Now, I'll just come to you, Lami. What did you find for us, the lady lawyer?
Ooh, I thought I just told you, don't take me first.
Unfortunately, I did not hear you.
My brain. Okay. Funnily, the president came in today from his medical tour. And what really piqued my interest was because of the provisional, constitutional provision that if it stays more than 21 days out of the country, then the parliament can invoke their authority to install the vice president as the acting president, which clearly he didn't do when he was leaving the country, which I think if he stays out of the country for more than 7 days, he should have, made the vice president the acting president, but he didn't leave him in that capacity. So it was just for 21 days and it would have been invoked automatically. But thankfully, he came in today. So thank God he's back.
So what do you think? Do we have a problem with handing over to our subordinates in this country? I thought we talked about it. Like, really?
So, did he have to hand over? I mean, he wasn't ill. He went for a medical checkup. Given the technology and the vast elements of remote working that we've gotten used to in the world, I don't necessarily think that the issue was about handing over for me. If we were to distill the many things that we could talk about our president going abroad for a checkup, we could talk about how much is spent on the Asero clinic. We could talk about, I mean, there's just too many things that we could talk about that would be so much more important than whether he handed over or not. Given the way we politic in Nigeria and the way we govern in Nigeria, how far could the needle have moved in 20 days or however long he was gone? So, I mean, talking about that or focusing on that is like missing the wood for the trees, in my opinion. So.
You kill. We leave it like that.
Well, can I just say something quickly?
Go ahead.
I particularly wanted him to have handed over to the vice president in the acting city, because I think for those few days or weeks, we'll have a sense of good governance. So I was just hoping for that probably in 1 or 2 weeks, we'll just have something very, very close to governance. But unfortunately, I was counting days. I wanted it to hit that 21 days, and it takes over. But unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Uti is asking you a question. No, say who you help.
Seemingly good governance. It's like, here's some, what can I use now? Slightly rancid orange juice. Manage it, it's almost going off.
We can make do with just 2 weeks of governance.
See, Lami, when you say that, you Nigerians we've been conditioned for bad behavior. See how you are saying 2 weeks, like in the grand scheme of almost 8 years, 2 weeks gonna change my life. Stop it.
Okay, what did you find for us?
Okay, so I love having been on with Lami. Lami and I have
you have a connection.
Okay, so my headline reads, and there's been a lot of fanfare and clap for ourselves today in the media this evening. My headline says, Sanwo-Olu kicks off construction of Red Line project, and that's from Agbado to Marina. Now, inside me, I want to be happy. I want to, maybe I should talk about the specifics of the project. So this is, I think Lagos State had proposed about 7 rail lines, and this is the second. So the blue line started, I'll come back to that. But the red line now is kicking off, and as we said, this goes from Marina to Agbado, and this is going to be proposed to be sharing some of the federal infrastructure along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. It's a 37 kilometer project. 28 kilometers of it will be completed, which is from Ido to Agbado, will be completed in 24 months. And that essentially is expected to increase the capacity, or will have the capacity to transport 500,000 passengers daily. Now, this, on the surface, my dear fellow Nigerians, I should be excited. Lagosians, life is about to change. But because there's always a but. I like to speak about the blue line. I like to bring you back. For those who are along the Lagos-Badagry Expressway project, I was a copper an obscenely long time ago when this project was discussed and commissioned. I've been trying. You know, when it's so far away that even the annals of history can't even remember when it was originally stated the project would be completed. But here it is. The blue line, I believe, is supposed to run from Marina to Okokomaiko. That line should have been completed, people, in 2011. As I check my calendar today, it's now 2021. 10 years later, the line is still not completed. So allow me to call this project a virtual project. We hope that we will see the red line before, in fact, you know, when you even travel down the Lagos-Badagry Expressway, the little bit that has been completed is now falling apart. The potholes are bigger than the, do you get what I mean? So I want to be excited. And this is what we do. There's all these projects in Nigeria that we start with so much fanfare. And then I remember back in 2009, there was a time when Lagos State declared that they had issued 70% of the value of the project. They had paid funds, checks were written. There was all the blah, 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 blah in the media. Again, 10 years after the project was due, our minister, whether it's Lagos, whether it's, I think the last one I saw was Fashola, who was saying, we haven't forgotten about the Lagos-Badagry Expressway project. There's all this talk about Sukuk funding, 4.5 billion, 1 billion, all these big, big numbers we call. Long story short, ain't no red line, ain't no blue line. Hello, virtual project. Thank you, Lagosians.
Lami, do you agree that this will be a virtual project?
My small lady is here distracting me.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, you said what?
I said, do you agree that this will be a virtual project, like Uti has said? Do you agree that it will be a virtual project?
I think I'll give them benefit of doubt, because in as much as government is a continuum, this is also a separate government. You never know. You never can tell.
Okay.
There might be a semblance again.
All right.
You know, so government side. Okay. It might be prone to do it. Yeah.
My story is actually linked to what we're talking about today, about dishonesty. You know, we had talked about on, why is Uti laughing? On Monday, we had talked about the allegations or alleged, you know, printing of money that Governor Obaseki alleged that the federal government had printed 60 billion just to augment the, the payments for the monthly allocations for governors. And of course, the government came out to say they don't know anything about it. There's no such thing about that and all of that. And today, Madam Uti now shares a story how CBN is justifying, Emefiele is justifying printing more money to finance Nigeria.
So now he admits that they are doing it.
Do you understand?
But the finance minister said
no. So because this is our conversation for today, right? I just thought to mention it. Then when we now come back from the break, we'll talk more about this, because this is part of what we're talking about when we say honesty and dishonesty, right? From one mouth, you think the governor, because that was what Tunji Andrews was our guest. That was what he was saying, that if you know the pedigree of Governor Obaseki, he's a finance person. He cannot just loosely say that they printed money when they did not print money.
You know what I even found funny was then, I believe it was APC, I mean, I've read so many different stories around this, who then started to attack him, to say Edo State is now worse off, the Western River State, the lending, the borrowing, and I'm thinking, how does that change the fact that you guys are printing
money to pay for salaries?
Inflation is what, 18.17% or something, and I mean food inflation 20-something%.
So we have a big problem in this Africa. God will help us. But like Obaseki said, we have a huge problem. But we'll take a break, right? We're discussing dishonesty, right? Stay with us. We'll be right back.